Woo! Big dubs, and I mean big dubs, for the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-1 victory over the Edmonton Oilers, who are in second place, and the Toronto Maple Leafs keep building up that lead in the North Division, now leading this division by 9 points. But if you've really been watching this channel for a while, I think you all know the player that I want to talk about tonight. I'll get to him. But let's look at the 3 stars of tonight's game. 3 stars of tonight's game. That's right. The first star, Jimmy Vesey. Your second star, Zach Hyman, was a disruptor and a force all night long. And then the third star with 3 more assists, adding to his career totals, Jason Spezza. Vintage night from Jason Spezza. Loved what I saw from this team as a whole. This Toronto Maple Leafs team collectively outplayed the Edmonton Oilers, not for 3 periods. No. For 3 straight games. Over the past 3 games in Edmonton, the Toronto Maple Leafs have outscored the Oilers 13-1. That's outstanding. 13-1, and not even a sound from Leon Draisaitl or Connor McDavid. The Toronto Maple Leafs have dominated in Alberta this past week, and it's been really amazing to watch. Let's get to the comments section, see what's going on here, and let me know how you're feeling about tonight's win. It was a big win tonight. SJT C Australia says TJ Brody has been the man, and he's been stellar. He's been looking real good the last couple games. Great complete game tonight, and it was a great complete game. That's a great comment. Great comment from Duncan Russell. This was a great team win. Up and down the entire lineup, we had contributors all around this lineup, from our top tier guys and then our bottom 6 players. This team is looking like a nice cohesive unit, and it's been really fun to see. It's been really fun to watch this team recently. Salvatore says Hyman and Smith was the closest thing to a fight in this game. And you're right. I like this comment from Baseball 27 right after this. Hyman living rent-free in Smith's head. And then he really just put the icing on the cake at the end of the game with the 6th goal of the night for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Mike Smith, he has just been freaking out the past couple games. He's a bit of a hothead, and it's really fun to watch. He got a roughing call for punching Zach Hyman with his glove. It was fun to watch, but wow. Zach Hyman living rent-free in Mike Smith's head. That's a great comment. Caden Elvis, let's go! Leafs win. Old School says VC and Spezza were good. Tavares finally scored. Tavares, he's getting that confidence back. I'm telling you, he's going to start to contribute more and more. And yes, total domination, not just for these past 3 periods, but these past 3 games have been stellar from the Toronto Maple Leafs. 6-1 dub, but I think you all know who I want to talk about the most. In all caps, Jimmy Vesey. That's right. Jimmy Vesey had a 15-game point streak heading into this Edmonton road trip, and he's had 3 points in 3 games. He had that assist on the Jason Spezza goal, and then tonight he had 2 goals. He scored the game-winning goal. Who would have saw this coming? If you predicted Jimmy Vesey to score 2 goals tonight, gold star to you. Buy a lottery ticket. Jimmy Vesey is looking like a much more confident player, and it's not just tonight. After he got that assist the other night, he started to regain this confidence, and it's been noticeable. Jimmy Vesey is finally being rewarded for his hard work. 2 goals tonight. Hopefully this is a confidence booster and something that he can continue to build from, because I still think he has good potential. Not top line potential or anything, but I like how he works on the third and fourth line. He looks really good. He complements Jason Spezza very well. Let's see what everyone here in the comments section says. Okay, can you remind everyone here how many points McDavid had in this mini-series? I will get back to this. You know what? Here it is right here. Connor McDavid, combined with Leon Draisaitl, 0 goals and 1 assist. No goals, 1 assist for these 2 amazing generational talents. The Toronto Maple Leafs shut down the Edmonton Oilers Stars, and to beat the Edmonton Oilers, that's all you need to do. Because after Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, I really don't have any belief in that lineup. This is a team that they're really not complemented well by any surrounding pieces. The Edmonton Oilers have 2-star generational talents that are being wasted away because Edmonton just is not surrounding them with adequate pieces. And tonight, these past 3 games actually, it's really showed. They have not been competing with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Edmonton Oilers now are down 9 points on the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are in first place in the North Division. Edmonton second. The Toronto Maple Leafs have a stranglehold on the North Division, and it's really fun to watch. Let's get to the comments section here. Yo Mama says Jimmy scores 2 goals just before he is about to get scratched. And you know what? That's a fair comment. That is a fair comment. Jimmy Vesey, I think the time was coming. There's a lot of people getting impatient with Jimmy Vesey. I was one of them myself. I've been really high on this guy, Jimmy Vesey, and I came into the season predicting he would have 17 goals. But Jimmy Vesey, I even said it the other night. I think that he's getting close to the time where you say he has to get scratched. But tonight, the pressure is on, and he scores 2 goals, including the game winner. Great performance from Jimmy Vesey, and I think that this is something he will build on. I love how he plays with Jason Spezza. It looks really good. Back to the comments here. Tavares, 4 points in 3 games. McDavid, no points in 3 games. Connor McDavid, he's struggling here against the Toronto Maple Leafs. We have shut him down. And you know who did an exceptional job of shutting down Connor McDavid these past couple games? You might be surprised. Pierre Engvall, TJ Brodie, and Travis Dermott. 3 names that you wouldn't have expected to hear. But yeah, those 3 guys have done a stellar job shutting down Connor McDavid. Dimitri, Leafs forever. Greetings from Switzerland. Nice to see you all the way from Switzerland. We're over here in Canada. Leafs Nation is worldwide, and it's great to see another viewer from Switzerland. And to everyone watching this video, if you haven't already, please, as always, smash that like button and hit the notification bell to be notified every time I come here on Maple Leafs Media. I've got live videos. I've got content coming out daily. Check it out. And if you're on Facebook, share this video and tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm amped up. I'm amped up about this big win for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Huge dubs for the Maple Leafs. Jason Brooks says VC had a really strong game. He had a really strong game, and he was looking for that hat trick. He almost got it on a couple occasions. He was doing more than just offensive things, though. He looked good defensively. Jimmy VC had a great all-around night tonight, and I really think that that's something he's going to build on. Bryce Ferguson says, I like TJ Brodie. He is good. TJ Brodie is good, and he's really been a standout player here in Edmonton these past 3 games. But really, you go back to the beginning of the season. We had the first series we have the game against Montreal, and then the series against Ottawa. And ever since that Ottawa series, TJ Brodie's looked much better. At the beginning of the season, I was questioning if he can play on a line with Morgan Riley, but I'm starting to get more comfortable with those two as a defensive pairing together. They've looked better, but the potential for failure is still there, as these are two guys that both like to join up on the rush. But hey, they've looked a lot better, and I think that the chemistry is starting to come along. They've both looked stellar recently. Make no mistake, Oilers are a quality side, and they were shut down completely. Great comment. They were shut down by the Toronto Maple Leafs. Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, we took them out of the game. And after that, the Edmonton Oilers had absolutely no answer. These past 3 games, the Toronto Maple Leafs have dominated. Salvatore says TJ Brodie was the best defender in this miniseries, and I'd agree with that. This goes back to the first game in this miniseries. Do you remember that play where TJ Brodie lied out like it was an NHL video game and he shot the puck up to Jason Spezza for that vintage goal? That's exactly what set the tone for the Toronto Maple Leafs. TJ Brodie had a hell of a mini-series, and Nate, just love to see it. You just love to see it from the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs have been stellar. Nothing can break Hyman. Zach Hyman, this comment right here from ASC. He's becoming that warrior that Leafs fans have been missing. Come playoff time, remember the name Zach freaking Hyman. Zach Hyman has a blue collar style of play that the Toronto Maple Leafs fan base absolutely loves. Zach Hyman has been outstanding. He's a workhorse. He is a workhorse. He gets in the dirty areas, and he gets under the skin of opposing teams' players, including their goalies. Mike Smith has a massive problem with Zach Hyman, and it is hilarious to watch. Awesome. That's awesome. TJ Brodie learned how to deal with the Oilers back when he was in Calgary for the Battle of Alberta. Another great comment from Duncan. Yes, he played against Connor McDavid a lot when he was over in the Battle of Alberta. That's a great comment. Tyler Bowen says, Oilers are weak without their stars. Hockey will always be a team sport. And yeah, they had their stars out there, and after their stars, they're not really supplemented by anything else. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are not surrounded with enough adequate pieces to be a successful team in the NHL. On multiple occasions, I've compared the Edmonton Oilers to the Pittsburgh Penguins right now. They've got Crosby and Malkin who are starting to age. They've got a couple other good pieces, yes. But outside of those core pieces, the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Edmonton Oilers don't have enough surrounding talent, and it shows. The Edmonton Oilers, their goalie situation, it's not very good. Mike Smith is the better of the two goalies, if you ask me, and he got lit up tonight. The Edmonton Oilers, after Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, they have no hope. Double D17 says Hyman is a lot like Darcy Tucker was. That's an interesting take, and you know what? You're right. He's a fan favorite in Toronto. Outside of Toronto, he's someone that not many people like. He's a player that you do not want to play against. He'll get in the dirty areas, he'll make a hit, and he'll get under the skin of other teams. So yes, Zach Hyman, Darcy Tucker, I see the comparison there. ASC says, and haters will stay saying that the Leafs play in the weakest division. I personally believe that the Pacific Division, the one with Colorado, Vegas, St. Louis, I believe that that's the weakest division in the NHL right now. That division, outside of a couple good teams, it's meh. It's meh. They just feast on the lower teams in California. That's the worst division in my opinion. But you know what? The Toronto Maple Leafs have dominated this division. Just look at what the Toronto Maple Leafs have done this year. They have a winning record against every single team in the North Division. It's going to be fun to watch when the Toronto Maple Leafs make it out of this North Division, when they make it out of the North Division. and when they play teams like the Boston Bruins and the Tampa Bay Lightning, because I believe that this team, the way it's constructed, I believe that they can absolutely compete with those big boys. How about this guy? The critics. Where are the critics now? Where are the critics? Yes, William Nylander. Willie Styles, as Joe Thornton calls him. 5 goals and an assist in 4 games played. You all remember that game that William Nylander single-handedly won at the end of the game against the Calgary Flames? Well, since then, he has turned it on. 5 goals and an assist in 4 games for Willie Styles. Will Nye, the scoring guy, William Nylander. William Nylander is really silencing the critics right now. He's hot, and he's going to continue to play this way. He's building a lot of confidence, and this is what you'd love to see. I believe he's just 4 goals away from 100 now, and I wouldn't be surprised 100 on the career. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him reach that milestone fairly soon. William Nylander has been looking amazing out there. He's been great on the power play. He's doing all the things you want to see him do. He's a great playmaker, and it's looked good for William Nylander. Yes, he says 91 Tavares looked like he wanted to cry and laugh at the same time when he removed that 600-pound piano off his back. And I believe that 600-pound piano that you're talking about is that goal-scoring drought that John Tavares had. John Tavares finally gets that goal, and that's taken a lot of weight off of his shoulders. The first game against the Edmonton Oilers a couple games back, he had 2 assists and 5 shots on goal. And I said it here on this Maple Leafs Media postgame show after that game that the Toronto Maple Leafs captain, John Tavares, is going to get it going after that game. I think that was a game that's going to really turn around the season for him. And he's almost at a point per game pace this season. So he's got really high expectations. That's the point. He's got extremely high expectations, and obviously that's what comes with a big contract and the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. But John Tavares has looked amazing out there, and he's been leading this team by example. It's what you need to see from your captain. Jake Ozzie says William Nylander stepped up when Matthews wasn't there, which is what we needed. He's got the talents and just needs the confidence. And I think that William Nylander, he's building that confidence up. You can see it. It's been noticeable these past couple games, and we just need it to continue from William Nylander. He needs to continue. The big hit on William Nylander over his tenure, outside of that contract negotiation, it's been his consistency. Can William Nylander consistently play like this? And I get it. At times, William Nylander isn't the most consistent player in the NHL. But he's the 4th best player on this team. And if he can continue to be more consistent, that's going to go a long way for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So Austin Matthews returned tonight. I mean, you might have heard Austin Matthews returned tonight. Kind of a big deal. He looked really good out there. He really looked amazing out there, but he was just being turned away by Mike Smith. Mike Smith didn't show up for every shooter, but for Austin Matthews, he had a special place, I guess. I don't know. Austin Matthews hit the crossbar early in the first period, and 7 shots on goal. He was doing Austin Matthews type of things out there, but nothing came to fruition on the score sheet. I still think he's going to win the Rocket, even with his 3 games missed this year. He will win the Rocket Richard Trophy this year, as long as he doesn't get any major injuries throughout the season. So just watch for Austin Matthews to heat up. Watch for it these next couple games. I expect Austin Matthews to get back on pace and get back on track. Nevin asks a question. Should the Leafs start Freddie or Hutch tomorrow? Nevin says Hutch. He's shown he's competent this year, and Freddie needs all the rest he can get. And Nevin, I'm going to agree with you. I think you got to go with Michael Hutchinson tomorrow. You don't want to play back-to-back Frederik Andersen, right off of coming back from an injury. I say Hutch gets a start. Michael Hutchinson, I feel like this is a question that a lot of people wouldn't have asked coming into the season. Leafs Nation is starting to get confidence in Michael Hutchinson, and that's a great thing to see. The team is being more confident with Michael Hutchinson, and Michael Hutchinson, the team in front of him, has just been performing a lot better. So I think that, yeah, I think he needs to get the start tomorrow night. You don't want to give Frederik Andersen 2 nights straight with the travel and everything, and coming right back off of an injury. You got to give Michael Hutchinson the start tomorrow. What do you all think in the comment section? Salvatore says Hutch, he has earned it. Hutch the clutch. Hutchinson. Clutchinson start. He has to. Where do you buy all your Bills gear? I'm also from Toronto. Oh, this. So if you don't know, I have a Bills Bunker channel as well. Chris might be from the Bills Bunker, but I got a lot of. I got my stuff at the games, the Bills games that I went to last year. Backup goalies, 6-1, 6-1. There isn't one person desperate to see Hutch succeed. Give him the chance to succeed. Michael Hutchinson's looked outstanding. He's really looked outstanding this year. 3 wins, 1 loss on the season. He's done his job. He has done his job. He has a shutout win, and this team is gaining confidence in him. You got to give Michael Hutchinson the start tomorrow. Do not start Frederik Andersen 2 nights in a row, back to back, after his first night back. Let's continue with this. So I was talking about Austin Matthews and how he returned. There's another player who returned. I guess we're sticking with the goalie theme. Frederik Andersen. What do you all think of Frederik Andersen's performance tonight? I feel as if you all might be a little upset that we didn't see 3 different goalies get 3 consecutive shutouts for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and that's fine. But Frederik Andersen, in his return, did his job, got the win, 26 saves on 27 shots. He looked good out there, and that goal against him, there's not much he could have done about it. Eventually, the Edmonton Oilers were bound to score a goal. I thought Frederik Andersen looked good out there. How's everyone feeling about Frederik Andersen tonight? Chris says solid for Frederik Andersen. Rest Freddie. I'm with you. I'm with you, John Howard. You got to rest Frederik Andersen. Mark Williamson, always in the comment section, he says, played great, can't stop them all. Definitely. Definitely. You can't expect Frederik Andersen to have a shutout every night. He hasn't had a shutout yet this season. Still looking for the 20th of his career. But it will come. It will come for Frederik Andersen. Just give it time. He is steady Freddy back there, as Old School says in this comment. Steady Freddy has been the rock, and he is unquestionably the starter. I've loved what I've seen from the other 2 goalies in Jack Campbell and Michael Hutchinson, but it's clear who our starter is. Frederik Andersen. He's been the rock for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Jake Ozzie says he was good out there. Freddie normally has issues with long rest, but he was solid. ASC says no way Freddie plays tomorrow, especially coming off an injury. I agree with that. Laser odds. He had to get out for that Draisaitl shot. Draisaitl placed it well for a rebound. That happens. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had position. And yeah, that's the hockey IQ of Leon Draisaitl right there. He shoots it off the leg pad purposely, and the rebound, it's uncontrollable. Goes right to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who puts it away. So Frederik Andersen, he had a stellar night tonight. He did his job. 26 saves on 27 shots. Not much more you can ask for. Chuck Fleet says, great game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Absolutely a great game for Toronto. It was amazing. Jamie Crawford took Edmonton 8 periods to score on Toronto. Their goaltending is dynamite. So I believe it was, the Toronto Maple Leafs almost shut out the Edmonton Oilers for 3 straight games. 3 straight games, they almost shut out the Edmonton Oilers, which is amazing, considering the top-end talent they have there in Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, and you held both of those two players to just 1 assist combined. Leon Draisaitl had an assist tonight off that rebound that I was referring to, which Ryan Nugent-Hopkins put away. So, really, you can't ask for any more. We shut down their top players, and after that, the Edmonton Oilers are not a deep team at all. Duncan Russell. This series was a statement. Emphasized. Statement. Keep on going, boys. Keep on improving. Not over yet. Much to prove, but still good work so far. Great comment. This was a statement victory, but the Toronto Maple Leafs, they've got a long road ahead of them. It's still pretty early in this season. The season's starting to fly by, but the Toronto Maple Leafs have done a great job early in this season. We've owned the North Division, as Nevin here says. But yes, we just got to do it in the playoffs. And we have to get to the playoffs first, which I feel as if we're almost locked to get to the playoffs. Technically not yet, but, no questions asked. We have to do it for the rest of the season. We have to continue doing this. Dominate this North Division. We need to continue that for the rest of the season. Keefe for Jack Adams Award. You know what I love about Sheldon Keefe? It's not just that he's a player's coach and seems like a great guy to have in the locker room. It's that he's not afraid to mix things up. He's not afraid to change things up. Something that Mike Babcock was afraid to do. Mike Babcock was very stuck in his ways and he was stubborn. Sheldon Keefe is willing to try new things out, roll out different lines, and that's huge for the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's huge for any team. You need to be able to be expandable through your lineup. You need to have the ability to make changes, and Sheldon Keefe will do that. Just think about this season. It's affected by a pandemic, and Sheldon Keefe, he's facing a multitude of injuries already early on this season. We've seen so many players hit hard with injuries. This team has been hit hard with the injury bug, and Sheldon Keefe, he's done an exceptional job of making rotations, switching up the line combinations, and really getting this team motivated. I loved what I've seen from Sheldon Keefe this year. Jack Adams, it may be in the works for Sheldon Keefe. But there's another good comment from John Howard. There's lots of work to be done. It's pretty self-explanatory. There's a long road ahead of us for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Salvatore agrees with that comment about Keefe being up for the Jack Adams Award. Laser Odds says McDavid was less dangerous tonight than Monday. Wasn't getting speed and transition, long arms. Babcock would love the headline. So did you see Connor McDavid get beat out 1-for-1 by Ilya Mikheyev? Ilya Mikheyev, he's like Flash Gordon. He's got super speed. He just beat Connor McDavid 1-for-1 in a race. I would love to see Ilya Mikheyev compete in a skills competition one day to see how he compares to the fastest skaters in the NHL. It's really exceptional. Laser Oz says, like button smashed. Thank you. If you haven't already, make sure you smash that like button. Smash it. Hit the notification bell up here if you're watching on YouTube. You'll be notified every time new content comes out from Maple Leafs Media. Got stuff coming out on a daily basis and usually on here for post-game show. Tomorrow I'm going to do something a little different. I'm planning on having a Vancouver Canucks fan on here tomorrow prior to the game. So make sure you tune into that. I'll have a Canucks fan, hopefully, and we'll be discussing Toronto Maple Leafs for Vancouver Canucks pre-game, either 8 or 8:30 start time. So I look forward to seeing you all there tomorrow. We still got a while to go in this post-game show, though. Chuck Fleet says, do you think Campbell is a number one starter? He never has been in the NHL in his career. He has never been a starter at the NHL level. Can he be? Yes. For the Toronto Maple Leafs, not yet. That's my answer. That's what I'm going to leave it at. So with tonight's win, the Toronto Maple Leafs have increased their North Division lead to 9 points. They hold 9 points over the team in second place. The Toronto Maple Leafs have absolutely owned the North Division, and they have a winning record against every team in this division. Tomorrow, we'll see the Vancouver Canucks. Looking forward to that. It's a 10 p.m. start time. We'll see if the Maple Leafs can prepare for that. I'm sure they will. I'm sure that they're going to be hyped up about this win, and hopefully they can continue this momentum. This is now a 4-game winning streak, and I expect the Toronto Maple Leafs to dominate the Vancouver Canucks. Do not mistake it. The Vancouver Canucks, they've got a lot of talent, and they've been playing a bit better recently, but we need to dominate the Canucks these next 2 games. I want to beat the Canucks the next 2 games. I want to win all these games on this Western road trip, which would be really outstanding to see. Ten points with a game in hand. That's right, with a game in hand. We've played less games than the team in second place. That's it's awesome. Jason Brooks says Leafs frustrated McDavid and Leon Draisaitl by taking away their time and space. They definitely did, and it was very evident. I don't know if you saw the post-game press conference with Connor McDavid, but he was irritated, and understandably so. I mean, when Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl don't perform or just don't produce, the Edmonton Oilers have nothing else that's going to really contribute goals. I mean, they have some good players, don't get me wrong. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Yamamoto, Darnell Nurse, but they don't have enough top-end talent outside of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and that's going to be the demise of the Edmonton Oilers in the long run. Salvatore says, give Campbell 2 more seasons and he will be a starter. He very well may be, and I'd love to see that. Toronto Maple Leafs, I mean, with Frederik Andersen's contract situation, they may need him to be a starter. Nevin says, how about another Spezza hat trick tomorrow? He had 3 assists tonight, 3 goals last time we played Vancouver. Jason Spezza, he's been playing like vintage Jason Spezza. Vintage Jason Spezza. He's been stellar as well. The other night against the Edmonton Oilers, that he's a righty, so I'm going to try my best imitation. That fake slap shot, then he does the wrist shot right in the back of the net. That was an amazing goal. Jason Spezza is so underrated. He brings more than that goal scoring ability. He wants to win really bad. He's never won a Stanley Cup, just like Joe Thornton and Wayne Simmons. These are 3 veterans that have never won a Stanley Cup. And I don't know if you remember last year, but Jason Spezza, he's got some fire to him. You remember that Columbus series last year? I know it sucks to bring it up, but in Game 4, I believe it was, the Toronto Maple Leafs were down 3-0. And with the season on the line, Jason Spezza drops the gloves, and he ignites the Toronto Maple Leafs as they come back and win the game 4-3 in overtime. Jason Spezza gave that team a much-needed spark, and Jason Spezza, his contributions this season have been amazing to watch. He is a great veteran to have on your team. Do you think if the Leafs wrap up the division early, Wall gets a start? You know what, Jake Ozzie? That's a interesting question. I never really thought of that, but why not? I wouldn't be surprised. Sheldon Keefe, he seems like a player's coach, and I would not be surprised to see Wall get a start later in the season. I really would not be surprised to see that. That's in the future, though. We'll see. We'll see. I would not be surprised to see Sheldon Keefe do that if the Maple Leafs walk up this division earlier in the season. Frank Rusty Nail says the Leafs should use all three goalies during these 3-game series. Gives an opportunity to win all the games and gives the goalies a game each, and they will be well rested. That's an interesting take, Rusty Nails. That's a very interesting take. And maybe that's something they explored doing when Jack Campbell first returns from injury. But I don't know if that's something that's really going to happen in the long run. Like these 3-game series, that's an interesting take. I don't I don't really see that happening. I feel as if they're going to continue with like a 2 goalie rotation, and Michael Hutchinson ultimately he's the odd man out. Like he's ultimately the odd man out. I know he's been performing great, and it sucks to say, but he's just not Jack Campbell or Frederik Andersen at this point. He very well could get some more starts because he's been playing good, and I like the point you bring up about resting your goaltenders. But I think you want to have 2 goalies ready for the playoffs, and those being Jack Campbell and Frederik Andersen specifically. ASC says this team is the perfect mix of youth and veterans. The difference is these veterans used to be elite players. Another great comment from ASC. Another one. Yes, Jason Spezza. We all remember him in those Battle of Ontario games. He would dominate. He was dominant. When he played on the line with Daniel Alfredson, he would do the fake slap pass, and Alfredson would put it in the net all the time. And then Joe Thornton, yes, elite, easily elite, Hall of Famer, easy Hall of Famer, probably a first ballot Hall of Famer. He is just amazing. He almost had 100 points in a season one year, former Art Ross Trophy winner. And Wayne Simmons, I don't think he was quite elite, but Wayne Simmons was definitely a very valuable asset for the Philadelphia Flyers when they were making their playoff runs. These are all 3 great veteran players, and their contributions have been amazing this season for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hot Take Hockey says 4 more subs. Subscribe. Thank you. Hot Take Hockey. If you haven't already, make sure you check out his channel. He's got a lot of great stuff going out there all the time. But yeah, that brings me to this. If you haven't already, please make sure you smash that like button, hit the notification bell up there, and if you're watching this on Facebook, share this video and tell a friend to tell a friend. Maple Leafs Media and Hockey YouTube, it's all growing, and it's a fun thing to do on a nightly basis. What a win for the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. These past 3 games, they have been dominant over the Edmonton Oilers, outscoring them 13-1, holding Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl to a combined 0 goals and 1 assist. They were non-factors as the Toronto Maple Leafs just shut them down. And after Connor McDavid and Draisaitl, I really don't believe in the Edmonton Oilers lineup at all. This was an awesome game to watch. Adam Brooks says, "Stay calm and always be Leaf." That's right. That's my motto. Keep calm and be Leaf. Keep calm and be Leaf. This team, they stress you out sometimes. The Toronto Maple Leafs really stress you out. It's been since that Ottawa game where I really got stressed out, but you know what? The Toronto Maple Leafs, I haven't had to say that in a little bit. Jake Ozzy says, "Is this Vancouver fan you're having on also on YouTube?" No, he's not. He's just a Vancouver fan that I know. We're going to have a Vancouver Toronto Maple Leafs head-to-head show tomorrow night prior to the Vancouver Canucks game. It'll be a lot of fun, and I hope to see you all there. Yep, that's true. Jamie Crawford says, "It's ironic that everyone was seriously worried about Edmonton. I think this 3-game series will put that to rest." Now, the thing about Edmonton is you can't necessarily sleep on the Oilers because of their generational talents in Connor McDavid and Draisaitl. But as I've said multiple times, I don't think the Edmonton Oilers will really make a deep playoff run anytime soon. until they are surrounded with more weapons beside Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. These two players are having their core, or rather their prime years, wasted away, and it's really sad to watch. These are two amazing players, and the Edmonton Oilers are not doing a good job of surrounding them with adequate pieces. It's a travesty over there in Edmonton right now. Colin M says Matthews will light up the Canucks, and I sure hope so. Tonight we saw this guy right here. We saw him. We saw him have 7 shots tonight. I thought he looked good out there, and he looked really good on that first line with Mitch Marner and Joe Thornton. They were dominant at times. He just couldn't get a goal. He couldn't score. He couldn't put one home, and it happens. You can't expect Austin Matthews to score every single night. Austin Matthews has been stellar for us this year. I expect him to really produce against the Vancouver Canucks. We'll see how it goes. Looking forward to it. Salvatore says the Oilers need to study what Kyle Dubas did. Think about the Edmonton Oilers. Think about what Kyle Dubas has done this offseason. Kyle Dubas, with very little wiggle room, he traded some players out, Kapanen, Johnson, and he brought in a bunch of veteran pieces for very little money. He had very little wiggle room, and he made the most of it with this cap situation. He did a stellar job. He's fulfilled on his 2 promises he's made to Maple Leafs fans across the world. The first promise he made was to re-sign the core 4, and we all thought that was impossible. A lot of people didn't like the way that it happened, but he fulfilled that promise. And then this most recent promise, heading into this season, during this past offseason, Kyle Dubas said he wanted to make this team a tougher team to play against. Now, I believe that this Toronto Maple Leafs team is absolutely a tougher team to play against. How is it not? You have bigger bodies. You have players that are going to ignite a spark. Wayne Simmons, think about when he gets back. Think about when Wayne Simmons gets back. This team's only going to get better. He's going to be an extra spark for this team. The Wayne train. He brought in Zach Bogosian. He really solidified that blue line with Zach Bogosian and TJ Brody. Kyle Dubas did an exceptional job this past offseason. Brendan Dion. Do you think the Leafs should find a winger for Tavares and Willie Stiles to play with? Interesting you say that. I have a video on this channel I recently posted about Philip Forsberg and my case to bring in Philip Forsberg to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Right now, the Toronto Maple Leafs look great. Don't get me wrong. But just imagine what a guy like Philip Forsberg would do for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He is a solidified first-line player, and he could definitely complement a second line with Nylander and Tavares extremely well. But another guy who can play on that second line, we didn't see a very big sample size of it because he was hit with an injury just in his second game on that line. Wayne Simmons. Wayne Simmons is a winger that, within this organization, I believe can play with John Tavares and William Nylander. I absolutely believe that. Andrew says, I believe he's asking when Simmons gets back. Wayne Simmons, he had that wrist injury. Was that like 2 weeks ago now? It was around 2 or 3 weeks ago now. The injury time period, the time frame for his return is around 6 weeks. So I'd say give him another 3 or 4 weeks to recover. It's a wrist injury, and that can be a nagging injury. I've broken my wrist myself here. It's not an injury that you can play with. You can't play hockey with a broken wrist. You just cannot do it. You can't put your weight on your wrist, on the stick. You can't play hockey with a broken wrist. So just give him the time that he needs to get healthy. You want Wayne Simmons for the playoffs. And the way that the Toronto Maple Leafs have been playing recently, Wayne Simmons can take his time and fully recover before we get back here. Interesting. We've got a bit of a back and forth here. Nevin says Forsberg, Granlund, or Raquel Leafs should get one of them. And then we have Jack Trout saying no trades, we're a good team. And while I definitely believe that we're a good team, I feel as if the Toronto Maple Leafs shouldn't get complacent. I feel as if Kyle Dubas shouldn't be complacent here. Uh, I I have belief in this team. I have a lot of belief in this team and this squad, but I just feel as if bringing in another solid player who can play in your top six would really push this team over the top and really put them in the discussion with the Boston Bruins and the Tampa Bay Lightning. I really believe that. Simmons is gone but not forgotten. Hey, the Wayne Train, he will be back, and his impact on this team was massive. You saw it in game one against the Montreal Canadiens, drops the gloves, sparks the team to a comeback victory, and Wayne Simmons, he's going to be an exciting player to watch when he gets back for this team. Colin M says Mikheyev is going on a run, bank on it. Ilya Mikheyev, he had that 411-day period where he didn't score a goal, and that goal came against Montreal a while back. It feels like maybe a month ago, and ever since then, he's been playing better. He's definitely been playing a lot better. You saw Ilya Mikheyev beat out Connor McDavid in a one-on-one race for the puck tonight. We have seen Ilya Mikheyev contribute on the score sheet more frequently this year, but you know what Ilya Mikheyev does the best for this team? He blocks shots, and he's an outstanding penalty killer. He knows his role on this team, and Soup plays it extremely well. Baseball 27, every time he gets mentioned up, just puts this in here because you look on any post involving him, Ilya Mikheyev gets spammed in it. Ilya Mikheyev. Ilya Mikheyev is a great penalty killer, and he is a very valuable asset for this Toronto Maple Leafs team. Brendan Dion says, how much weight do you put on this team just beating up on this division? Personally, I think this is the best Leafs team since the early 2000s Sundin teams. You know, the North Division, I don't actually think it's the worst division in the NHL. A lot of people have said that. I don't think it's the worst division in the NHL. I think that's Colorado's division. But yes, it's hard to get a full gauge on how good this team really is. But I believe that this is, like you say here at the bottom of the comment, this is the best Leafs team since the early 2000s when Sundin was here. I absolutely agree with that. The Toronto Maple Leafs, it's going to be really interesting to see what they do when they get out of the North Division and when they can play against the Boston Bruins, Tampa Bay Lightning, Colorado Avalanche. These are the teams that I want to compete with. The Toronto Maple Leafs have been dominating the North Division, and it's just a matter of time before we get to see the big boys. Jack Trout, Simmons is a huge boost. Watch out when he gets back. The Wayne Train. Just wait for the Wayne Train to get back. He's going to be a massive boost for this team. He seems to have a spark play every single game. Jack Trout says, this old timer will tell you this is the best Leafs team since 1967. High aspirations for the Toronto Maple Leafs this year. We all know what the Toronto Maple Leafs' ultimate goal is, and it's not just to win one playoff series, something we haven't done in so long now. It's not just to win one playoff series. We want to bring the Stanley Cup to Toronto. I'm not going to say plan the parade or anything. We got to gauge to see how we can play against the other teams outside of this division before we do that. But I believe that this is the best Leafs team we've seen in years. I don't know if I can go all the way back to 1967, but definitely the best since the early 2000s. ASC says Tampa looks terrifying, and that's without Kucherov. Tampa Bay does look. I mean, they always look terrifying. They're a great team, and there's a reason they won the Stanley Cup last year. They're a great team, and Just imagine a Tampa Bay versus Toronto playoff series. That would be. It's giving me chills right now. That'd be really fun to watch. The Toronto Maple Leafs have looked outstanding this year, and Chuck Fleet says Toronto hasn't looked this good since the 1993 team. That was another great Toronto Maple Leafs team. Another great Toronto Maple Leafs team with a tough call to end the season. Jason Brooks, in the 3 games within the first 5 minutes, Anderson, Hutchinson, and Campbell have kept the Leafs in games when Edmonton was buzzing all over them. Great comment from Jason Brooks there. Tonight and the past game prior to this, I really felt as if the Edmonton Oilers, they were scary in the first couple minutes. Absolutely terrifying in the first couple minutes. But our goaltenders shut them down, and the team rebounded. The Toronto Maple Leafs, team in front of Frederik Andersen, Michael Hutchinson, Jack Campbell, all 3 of these winning goaltenders with winning records this year, they all rebounded, and the Toronto Maple Leafs came together, and they played better as a team, and they outplayed the Edmonton Oilers for the remainder of the game after the first couple of minutes. Baseball 27. Tampa doesn't have Bogo now. That's right. Zach Bogosian won a Stanley Cup with the Tampa Bay Lightning last year, and now he's part of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he's been very valuable here. He's been a very valuable player on the bottom pairing for the Toronto Maple Leafs, along with Travis Dermott and Mikko Lehtinen at times. He's been very great. He's been a great mentor for them. Yes, I said a mentor, because in case you didn't see, after last game, when it got very chippy, yesterday in practice, Travis Dermott and Zach Bogosian were practicing fighting. Zach Bogosian was showing Travis Dermott how to fight. He was giving him fighting lessons because he knows a thing or two about it. So watch for Travis Dermott to use that sometime. I thought early on in this game that Dermott and Archibald were going to drop them. Archibald visibly frustrated, but Dermott was just laughing it off. The Toronto Maple Leafs got the final laugh tonight. Zach Hyman and Mike Smith, same story. Big dubs for the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. It was a great team win, and loved what I saw from everybody. But once more, the big story of tonight, I think it's safe to say, is Jimmy Vesey. Jimmy Vesey. Jimmy Vesey. That's right. 2 goals tonight for a player that's been in a slump. Coming into this Edmonton road trip, he had a 15-game point streak, and I hope that this is something Vesey can build off and continue to gain momentum from. He looked confident out there tonight, and I think that he's gotta be competing for ice time. You gotta remember, we have Alex Galchenyuk on this team now. He hasn't gotten in any playing time, and we have other players that are competing for ice time with Jimmy Vesey. So he's got to really solidify his role if he wants to stay in the lineup on a nightly basis. Jimmy Vesey, big game from him tonight. Hope to see it some more. Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy Vesey. Jimmy Vesey, the GOAT. Donald Campbell, do you think the Leafs started to get into their heads a little bit? The Maple Leafs, they bought mansions in the Edmonton Oilers' head. They had massive land, like they just had a bunch of real estate in the Edmonton Oilers' heads tonight. It was a mind game. The Toronto Maple Leafs were outplaying them. They were dominating them in every asset of the game for these past 3 games. Being shut out 2 straight games isn't something that happens to the Edmonton Oilers often. And when you hold their superstars off the game, or off the score sheet rather, yes, the Toronto Maple Leafs lived in the Edmonton Oilers' head, and just wait until the next time these 2 teams meet, because I'm sure that it's going to be residing in the head of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for the Toronto Maple Leafs. But right now, I don't care. The Toronto Maple Leafs, 3 straight wins, outscoring the Edmonton Oilers 13-0. 6-1 in 3 games. Absolutely, they lived in their heads. Great win from Toronto. Woo! Go Leafs! And on that note, been on here for 55 minutes. And as I said earlier in the show, tomorrow night, the Vancouver Canucks, Toronto Maple Leafs in Vancouver at 10 p.m. Make sure you come back here tomorrow. I will be here with a Vancouver Canucks fan. Ew. Yeah, I'll be here with a Vancouver Canucks fan. Toronto Maple Leafs versus Vancouver Canucks fan prior to the game tomorrow around 8 or 8:30. Stay tuned to find out what time. There will be a notification. 8 or 8:30 p.m. tomorrow. I'll be back here with a Canucks fan for a pregame show. And if you haven't already, please smash that like button. And if you're on YouTube, hit the notification bell to be notified every time I'm on here on Maple Leafs Media and every time new content comes out, almost coming out on a daily basis. It's super fun to see this. We had a viewer from Switzerland tonight, a viewer from Australia. We got viewers from everywhere, and it's really amazing to see how the game of hockey is growing and how Maple Leafs fans live worldwide. It's amazing, and just thank you for your constant support here on Maple Leafs Media. I will be back here tomorrow night, 8 or 8:30. Stay tuned for that. And until next time, I'm your guy, Jake. This is Maple Leafs Media. Big dubs. Big dubs. Go, Leafs, go.